welcome to one of the most glamorous evenings of the year. We're here to celebrate GQ's Best Dress List of 2014. And here's a look at all those fashion-forward folks that made it tonight. Lucky woman because I've actually spent 2 Saturdays in a row with Saif Ali Khan. Not lucky for him actually.
Lucky for me.
Oh, very sweet. And he has something he wants to say to someone very special as well at NDTV.
Because normally time out, night out, time out, was Anisha.
Yeah.
So I hope she's still doing it, is she?
No, she's not. It's me now and a couple of other people.
Times change, but we remember you fondly.
Anisha
I hope you've gone on to other greater things. Love you very much. It was always nice talking to you.
Someone is going to be so happy. And now coming back to this evening, obviously we've got the Natty Nawab with us, and you've been knighted for your contributions to fashion. Yes. How does that feel?
It feels very special to be #1 on a list where Mr. Bachchan is #3. I don't think that's ever going to happen again. So I'm going to ask them to frame that thing, and I'm going to keep it.
Yeah. Everyone normally for these kind of events comes in this very formal sort of avatar. Today you're rocking your James Dean look a little bit.
I tell you, we've been promoting our movie. I'm not going to say.
No, really? We didn't know that.
We've been promoting our movie, and I said, I've been thinking about what to wear for a change, and I thought to turn up in a white dinner jacket with a black bow tie would be very typical. Whereas I think this is, apart from the heat, something of a statement in a way, you know. So I'm quite pleased.
Well, we like the rugged look on you. I always have said that. So Saif is looking absolutely great this evening, and you've got a couple of men who you've been spending a lot of time with. Okay, that came out the wrong way. But Sajid and Ritesh, not exactly known for their fashion sense. But what advice would you give them?
Sajid got a little annoyed because he said, "Oh, you and Ritesh are so well dressed." And I'm looking like, so I said, you're looking like a hard-working technician, and we're looking like the stars. I didn't realize that was an insult. Is that an insult?
It is.
No, he's got to roll up his sleeves, wear a t-shirt, and just be the hard-working. I think directors who
Pimp and preen
want to be stars,
it's a little sad.
It's a little sad. Yeah.
Farhan, are you listening?
He's an actor and a director. It's fine. It's all right.
He was a director first. We're looking absolutely great. And the fact is, a lot of women generally influence their men's sense of fashion. But actually, after I think you and Kareena got together, you seem to have actually influenced her sense of fashion. I think.
No. If anything, she's influenced the fact that one should make an effort. Because things have changed. One of the most exciting things, actually, in terms of the glamour profession and knowing her, is that she's more in touch with what's happening today than I was. So through her, I've understood actually that the game has changed, obviously from the 90s, which is fine because it suits us still. But I mean, I've seen her shop and say this would be great to wear at that event because I can't repeat it, and I don't really think like that. But I do understand the importance of trying to look good in terms of setting a trend,
Absolutely. And I was discussing this actually with Kiran Rao a little earlier. No woman likes the fact that a guy dresses up a little too much. It just puts us all off. How do you tread that fine line between being well dressed and not being like too much, not too much about it really, not obsessing too much about it, being an alpha male still?
I don't know, because I think sometimes if, I like old-fashioned clothes, the suits and cufflinks and some, even collar studs, and I sometimes need help getting ready. So, in the old days,
Downton Abbey.
I mean, you needed an assistant. A
valet.
You say, shove this, the studs in the collar. I'll be ready in 5 minutes. Like, geez,
we all wish we'd live in those worlds.
So I don't know if that really applies because it's not that I'm chucking on a shirt and a t-shirt and I'm sort of ready to go. I do get a little finicky about sometimes what I'm wearing, but I think I offset that by then. Sometimes just wearing shorts and a t-shirt, which I think is, it's important to mix it up.
Absolutely. Because last week I saw him in just jeans and chappals, and today, of course, he's rocking the bike look. And honestly, you're looking great in both. You would have looked great in a dinner jacket and tie as well.
Maybe another time.
Maybe another time. We hope
you're a brilliant host for this show.
Thank you. He's just saying that because he said all those nice things about Anisha.
No,
I'm very hurt, but okay.
You're a modern and a very charming and beautiful host. So good for you.
Thank you so much. My head's not going to fit into this room after this. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you. Saif may be so Saif, at least for this cover of GQ, but the man who is the true minister of fashion is, of course, Karan Johar. Mainly because he tells you all the time whether you want him to or not, whether you're looking awful. See, he's dying to tell me that. Hi Karan, thank you so much for joining us. It's been too long since we met you actually.
I know, Beverly, and you chose to wear red only because you knew there would be a sea of black and you wanted to stand out.
Absolutely.
Clever girl.
You
clever
know
girl.
how to get into my
clever
mind.
Girl. Very
it's
clever.
very small, so it's not very difficult to get into. So obviously a very, very fashionable evening, and Karan, you're looking very dapper as usual. How do you manage to get it right every single time?
I wear black. I wear a black suit everywhere I go. How wrong can you get? And I'm really, really pleasured and honored to always be on this list because I wear the same black suit and go everywhere. So I really don't know why they keep putting me on this list.
It's because of what's inside. It's not just the style, it's the substance, Karan.
My soul is fashionable.
Absolutely.
I
wasn't really going to say that, but Karan, as usual, took the words out of my mouth. That's what he makes a fashion of doing as well. And a lot of, obviously the people who you've mentored have been on this list as well.
Right.
Who, in your opinion, because did the boys really have that kind of fashion sense? I know Alia you really mentored, but did the boys have that fashion sense?
No.
It was all you?
No, they had no idea. They were little lost children who I kind of gave them the fashion path.
Yeah.
The next statement after this should be no, I'm just kidding, but I'm not.
I can figure that out. So who
it.
was the more fashionable of the two, Varun or Sid? Like who has a more natural inclination?
I definitely don't think any of them are really fashionable. I think they've learnt on the job. But I have to say Alia really always got it right. Even when she was 30 kilos larger than how she was, she still had a kind of a cool fashion quotient. She dresses and puts high street very efficiently together, and I love that about her. She dresses her age, which is like, thank God. The boys are cool, they're good looking and trendy, and I don't think get it wrong, but I think now that they've spent 2 years with the movie Fraternity, they're definitely on the list and getting it right. So I'm excited.
Absolutely.
I don't know why I've become this big fashion guru giving my opinion about anyone, but since you're asking me and elevating me and putting me on this position, I'm just going with the flow.
Oh, please, you love it.
I totally do. I'm going to give you what they gave me at the entrance.
Oh, what is this?
I don't know.
Okay.
I just don't want to hold on to it anymore.
So typical of Karan Johar, I have to say. But as always, a total pleasure to have you on the show. And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
And do you have any, one more question I have to ask you. A lot of people say a good sense of style is just about having a big fat bank balance. Do you agree with that?
Yes. At least when
I
it
didn't
comes
see
to
that
me,
coming.
At least when it comes to me, I love expensive clothes. If they're cheap and on sale, I don't buy them.
Okay then. So if you're poor, basically, you're not going to be fashionable.
No, don't say extreme. See, the opposite of rich is not always, it's not poor. Like the
What
opposite
is
of
it
good
then?
is not bad.
Yeah.
There are lots of levels between two extremes. So
There
I
are many
hate it when
shades
you
of
find when
grey.
people generalize. But I love things that are not on sale. It's a dialogue in Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gham where she says, never buy things at sales.
Yeah.
I don't trust things that are not that expensive.
Okay. Fair enough, we can't argue with that. Well, amidst all the testosterone this evening, it's good to see that there's some feminine charm here as well. Kiran, I have to say, I love how you're looking this evening. Was
Thank
Audrey
you.
Hepburn the inspiration behind this?
Always is. She always is. Yeah. I love her.
Absolutely. Who does it? And I have to say, you're really upping the style quotient these days because we saw you at Dilip Kumar's launch actually earlier this week. And the minute you walked in, I was like, wow, she's looking stunning. So obviously, you're doing something different. Are you experimenting a little bit more with fashion, enjoying dressing up these days a little more?
Maybe you're right. I mean, I didn't pay it much attention earlier, and I think I'm also much more in shape now.
In fact, that's what everyone's been saying. That was the first thing actually a lot of people said when you walked in. So it's all working for you. I have to say.
Exactly.
The working out is working.
I think when you're fit, you kind of feel excited to wear different kinds of clothes, and that kind of helps.
Absolutely. And how have you been managing that? Because obviously you're a woman who's got a pretty full plate, with a baby, and a lot of people find it really tough to work out when they have kids. So what's the secret to it? How are you managing to fit it in?
Gosh, I wish I could say I've cracked it, which I haven't. But
Looking like that.
Working, baby, it's all difficult, but I kind of manage. I do something called TRX, and I have a wonderful trainer called Aditya, and We work out 3 times a week, and it's kind of fun. TRX isn't so much sort of weight training as much as it's functional training, and it's a lot of your own body weight. So
you don't want to look bulked up and
I have to tell you, every day, I mean, the soreness the next day kills you. So you always like hate going back the 3rd day. So the only way to beat it is to do it every day.
Oh, that doesn't sound difficult at all.
To graduate to that.
You know, now
5 or 6 days a week.
Well, it's all working for you, and you know, poor Amir, unfortunately, lately a lot of people have been focusing on his weight like crazy, so which you probably know about. So, are you giving him any tips and stuff like that?
No, I can't give him any. He's really, you know, he's the kind of person who knows exactly what he has to do, and when he has to achieve what he has to achieve, he'll lose the weight quickly enough, I'm sure.
I'm sure he will. And you know, fashion is something a lot of intellectual people don't take seriously, and you're known as someone who is intellectual. But do you think that's necessarily true, or do you think that fashion is also just a way of expressing yourself in a different way, or do you feel it's a little silly sometimes and not to take it so seriously?
I mean, you know, if one doesn't make the biggest deal out of it, it is a sort of, in a sense, a personal expression, and creative people have always, I mean, worldwide been known for sort of dressing differently. You know, everyone feels that, oh, in the old days they were just hippies or they were bohemian or whatever it was. But it's an extension of a personality that a lot of creative people have. So I think you'll find it a lot amongst the filmmaking fraternity, that people like to dress up or dress differently. I don't know differently anymore. The problem is, I think, with fashion magazines and the sort of...
It's about brands rather than...
It's a lot about brands and a lot about the trends and all of that, which I don't subscribe to so much. So I think it's what you want to do with it, you know, really. I don't think it should be, which is why I'm so scared of people saying, oh, this is in and that's not in, and look at what she's wearing. You know, it ultimately has to be an extension of your personality.
It's about marching to the beat of your own drum, so to speak, right? And that's what it's all about. And you know, I personally, I don't think I like men who dress up too much. It just kind of puts me off a little bit. I think for a lot of women, it's like that. Is that the case for you as well?
It is a bit, I feel, I mean, I would be quite, I'd feel a little underconfident if Amir took like a lot of care every time he went out. But, I mean, he's kind of relaxed about his clothes as well, and I've always been, so it's kind of peas in a pod.
Peas in a pod. Well, you'll certainly do come across that way. And thank you so much for joining us. Have a fabulous and fashionable evening, of course. Thank you so much. Thank you. Good to meet you.